Hi everyone. They've been doing a lot of upgrades to ships in the 4.1 patch, but for this video I want to just focus on the Valkyrie. That's because they've done a lot to it. And its first upgrade happened not very long ago when they increased all of its remote turret weapons up by one size. So its chin turret went from being twin size 2 weapons to twin size 3s, and the wing mounted remote turrets went from being size 3s to size 4s, which was something that it desperately needed. I remember when the Valkyrie was first introduced to the test server, and it originally had 2 size 3 weapons on its chin turret, and for some reason they decided to downgrade it to having 2 size 2 weapons before it was released into the PU. And for the longest time that turret was the only thing that the pilot had access to. Which brings me to the next big upgrade that they've done to the Valkyrie, and this one is huge. They've slaved the 2 remote turrets to the pilot seat. You used to need 5 gunners to run all the Valkyrie's turrets, which was a ridiculous amount of people for a medium-sized ship. And that's not even counting any of its other stations or the 2 size 1 mounted guns that it has. And just to be clear, the Valkyrie still has the 2 remote turret seats. And if someone sits down to either of those stations, they will be able to control one of the wing mounted weapons. So this new setup is going to be the best of both worlds for Valkyrie owners. The wing turrets will still retain their autonomous functionality, and as long as no one is sitting in those seats, then the ability to control those weapons will default to the pilot. And one of the things that I was concerned with when it came to this change was with how it affected the pilot's operated gun's ability to converge their fire on a single target. And there's one thing that a lot of people still don't seem to be aware of, is that you can manually set your weapon's convergence distance. You can find this option under the game settings, and it's located about halfway down the list. And the last of the upgrades that they've done to the Valkyrie was to increase its cargo capacity from 30 to 90 SCUs. And this is another move that I am 100% in favor of. And going back to the original days of the Valkyrie, they actually debated over whether or not it should be able to even carry cargo. But in the end, they reluctantly settled on letting it have a max capacity of 30 SCUs. But volume-wise, it was still obviously capable of carrying a lot more. And although I was happy that they didn't stop it from being able to carry cargo at all, I still felt like its carrying capacity was being needlessly restricted. And a huge contributor to this was ever since they physicalized cargo, the Valkyrie could carry 332 SU containers anyway. So the cap that they put onto its maximum capacity was kind of pointless. There was also a bunch of things that I wanted to test when it came to these new changes. Like for instance, there's a mind-numbing amount of combinations when it comes to cargo crate sizes and how you can stack them, but all I was really concerned with was how many large crates it could hold. Let's start with the largest amount first. Like I said before, you could always get 3 32 SU containers into the Valkyrie, and you still can. But they're going to be unstowed, which means that they won't snap to the grid. And the largest combination of boxes that I could fit onto the grid were 2 24 SU containers. I could also stack 6 4 SU crates on top of them, and I tried placing them along the side of the grid, but they wouldn't snap to it when I did that. And I ended up filling the rest of the space with 9 2 SU size boxes. And as you can see here, you can stack crates all the way up to the ceiling of the Valkyrie now. And yes, you can get a lot more in there as well, but anything that's past 90 SUs is going to be off the grid and unstowed. That's going to be it for this list of upgrades that have been done to the Valkyrie, all of which will be available in the 4.1 update. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.